In the deep, deep ocean, deep, deep down, where the water was as bright blue as the summer sky, lived a very special octopus. His name was Oliver, and he was an inventor. All around him were the things that inventors dream about: tools and parts and gadgets and gizmos. And in the middle of it all was a big, beautiful, bouncy ball. While other sea creatures spend their time playing games or looking for yummy things to eat, Oliver loved to tinker. He'd collect seashells and shiny pebbles and pieces of coral and even seaweed to make strange little gadgets and gizmos. It wasn't easy being an inventor, especially when you lived underwater. Sometimes his inventions worked, and sometimes they didn't. But that didn't stop Oliver from trying. In fact, it just made him try harder. His workshop was always a mess. Clink, clank, fizz, bang. Shells would clink against each other. Bubbles would fizzle and pop. And sometimes a wandering crab would help him by stealing shiny screws. Just when Oliver thought he had everything he needed to finish one of his greatest inventions, a terrible storm swept through the ocean. The waves shook the reef and made the water cloudy. When the sea finally calmed down, Oliver swam out to see what had happened. The once happy and colorful playground reef was destroyed. The coral slide was gone, the seaweed swings were ripped from their branches, and the anemone chairs were scattered on the ground. "Oh no," cried the little clownfish. "Our coral slide is gone." "I can't believe it," said the seahorse. "They had been playing on the slide only yesterday. Now the whole thing was destroyed." "We have nowhere to play now," sighed the jellyfish. She had been looking forward to sliding down the big coral slide for the whole week. Oliver felt bad. He wanted to help his friends, but what could he do? Then he tapped 2 of his 8 arms together and said, "Don't worry, I'll invent something new for everyone." So back to his workshop he went, determined to create the greatest playground ever. First, he attached 4 strong pieces of coral to a rock to make a seesaw. Then he gathered some shiny pebbles and made a path so the crabs could scuttle along without falling over. Next, he used some old scallop shells to make a pair of swings. He knew the jellyfish would love these. Last but not least, he built a giant slide out of a long piece of glistening seaweed. When his friends came to look at what he'd built, their eyes popped wide open. The new playground was even better than the last one. The clownfish slid down the seaweed slide and splashed into the water. The seahorses took turns on the scallop shell swings. Even the grumpy pufferfish cracked a smile and bounced up and down on the seesaw with the hermit crabs. As for Oliver, he sat on a nearby rock and watched his friends play. He was very tired after a day of inventing, but seeing his friends having fun made him feel happy inside. From that day on, whenever anything in the reef was broken, all the sea creatures knew who to call. And Oliver was always happy to help because being an inventor wasn't just about making cool stuff. It was about using his skills to help his friends. That's what made him the happiest of all. The end.